Okay. Good evening, my dear students. I hope I'm audible enough, right? So, if you remember, in our last class, we have discussed the rules of subject-verb agreement. We almost finished, but we left few of the rules. So today we'll complete that few rules and move into the part of practice questions, right? So without wasting your time, so let us start today's class. So before I move into the last part that we have left, let me show you something that, as I always mention, that we have a TET batch, and if you join that, you will get live classes, recording classes, mock test, as well as you will get PDF notes. So say urge, request that if you are very serious about your TET examination, then please join us. Okay. So now yesterday, that means not yesterday, a week back, we have discussed this rule, subject agreement. That is, the first rule was S1 V1 P1, S2 V2 P2, if you remember that. Next we've discussed that compound words. Okay, I hope you have read at home and understand that compound word, that single idea, then same person but different pronouns, different persons with article. Next we have discussed the rules for each, everyone, everybody, nothing, no one, nobody, someone, somebody. Then we have discussed connecting phrases like and, not, together with, addition to, including, along with, to. Next we have discussed many, the difference between many and much, then n number of versus the number of, and also you have discussed many. So there are three words: many, and much. Okay, n number of versus the number of. Next we have discussed fractions, percentage, and most of. We have also discussed this rule. Then we have discussed the rule of either or and neither nor. Then we have discussed one of rule and one of relative pronoun rule. I'm not going to that inside because already have discussed, and if you want to know that, so please check your videos, previous videos. Okay, then the rule of more than one, more than two, three, then more and plural noun than one. Next, so these are the summed up of the rules what we have discussed, but again and again we have some new rules in that. So we have discussed last day, remember, I have discussed up to 10. Okay, I have discussed up to 10. So I will discuss from next 11 to next words, next rule. So let us start. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So the 11th rule said collective nouns. Okay? Example: group, population, family. But apart from these three words, there are many words we have in collective noun. So request you to read collective nouns, because in a class we are not able to tell you all the collective nouns, the bundle of collective nouns. So you have to understand that what sort of collective noun is that. So please find a list and learn that. So make you understand what is collective noun. Collective noun is a noun where all the nouns put together and it becomes one single entity, singular entity or single entity. So collective noun, maximum of the cases, 90% of the cases, I must say that 90% of the cases, collective noun is considered as S1. As we know that S1 follows V1 follows P1. For example, group. Okay, group is, not group R, because it's a single entity. Team, board, jury. Now there's the exception rules also of the same collective noun er ki ache exception rules also. What is the exception rule? Exception rule said that if any of the collective noun, for example jury, let us take an example of jury. So in jury, suppose we have 5 members or 10 members. We have 5 or 10 members in a jury. Now in any of the event, out of the 5 jury, 3 jury said that yes, 3 jury said no. So that means what? They are not united. Suppose তুমি মনে করো একটা গানের ইভেন্ট হচ্ছে, গানের ইভেন্টে জুরি যে 5 জন মেম্বার, 3 জন বললো যে ভালো গান হয়েছে, 2 জন বললো ভালো গান হয় নাই. So in this case, that means I can consider that they are not unitedly said yes, কারণ 3 জন আলাদা, 2 জন আলাদা. So in that case, this collective noun becomes as 2. Okay, so particularly I can say if their opinions are different, if their opinions, okay, if their opinions are different, if their opinions, opinions are different, then it will become as2. So you have to understand the sentence, you have to understand whether they are meaning single idea or they are actually different opinion. If they have different opinion, then it becomes as2, and as we know that as2 follows p2 follows p2, right? Next, in a sentence expressing wish, okay, request, condition contrary to fact, the word where is used. Directly they are telling us that if there is any wish in a sentence, so if the sentence is denoting a wish, I have to or we have to use where instead of any other auxiliary verbs. For example, now let me tell you a Bangla sentence. যদি আমি পাখি হইতাম, যদি আমি চাকরি পাইতাম, যদি আমি ভারতবর্ষের প্রধানমন্ত্রী হইতাম, এই ধরনের সেন্টেন্সগুলিতে আমি কি প্রকাশ করছি? আমি প্রকাশ করছি আমার উইশ, যদি আমি পাখি হইতাম, যদি আমার ডানা থাকতো, যদি আমি চাকরি পাইতাম। So that is a wish. So I must write and I must select the option where. If I were a teacher, if I were in place of you, if I were become the prime minister, if I were get a job. So these all in the cases I have to use this only one word, that is where. Next rule number 14. So nouns that are plural but in form, plural in form but singular in meaning. So here we have given bold. Okay, there are some nouns which ended with s, but they are actually not plural. So many cases we know that the nouns which ended with s becomes plural, but there are some cases where these words or this noun ended with s are not actually a plural noun. These are actually single noun. So singular noun, that means what? That means s1, and we know that s1 follows b1 follows p1. Now for example, mathematics, civics, news, these are not plural. There are other many words are there. For example, statistics, okay, statistics, politics. So you have to understand this word very well. So in our question paper we have said what we have said, they will find number of examples. Next, rule number 15, noun consisting two parts. So if there is any noun, it has two parts, duita part jodi thake. For example, what are they? Scissors, only in the case of scissor, pants, eyeglasses. So for example, this is my eyeglass, right? It has two parts, so it is not a singular. So the noun is not singular, it is a plural itself. Remember that if any noun has two parts, for example pant, for example eyeglasses, for example scissors, so they are actually a plural. And we know that if it is a plural, then s2 follows, v2 follows p2, as I mentioned earlier. Now to make it a singular, you have to use a pair of. That means in a question, if before these words a pair of is used, then it will become singular s1. Remember that. So to make a singular, I have to use a pair of, or other than that it is actually a plural part, plural noun, because it has two parts, right? Done. Rule number 15 is done. Next, rule number 16. Okay, so 16 we have already discussed a number of, and we know that a number of is s2. Okay, s2 follows v2 follows p2. Then a number of versus the number of singular. Okay, next, rule number 17, non-count nouns. Non-count noun means uncountable, actually uncountable. Non-count noun means uncountable. So uncountable nouns, for example education, diabetics, information, research. But again and again I am telling you, there are number of words are there which are actually uncountable. When was in school we learn uncountable nouns. How to identify uncountable nouns? By seeing the object, জিনিস দেখে আমরা বুঝি, যেরকম চাল, ডাল, লবণ, এগুলো আমরা uncountable শিখেছি. But believe me that this is a totally wrong method to understand a uncountable noun. Okay, কারণ ছবি দেখে বা ইমেজটা দেখে আমরা uncountable noun ভাবি, that will be a mistake for us, because I don't know what uncountable noun is that. আমরা জানি না কি ধরনের uncountable noun আছে। যেরকম আমি লিখে দেখাই, you will be confused. Bread, for example, soap, for example, chalk, for example, chalk, for example. So in the first side of these words, bread, soap, chalk, তো তোমার কি মনে হয় এগুলি কি কাউন্টেবল না আনকাউন্টেবল? তো তুমি কি করবে? You will try to understand the image, ছবি দেখে তুমি বোঝার চেষ্টা করবে, and here you will be in trap, because ছবি দেখে uncountable countable যেটা শিখেছি আমরা স্কুলে, this is a wrong method. The word itself is uncountable. I have to learn that the word itself is uncountable noun. Now number of words are there, so again and again here also you have to search the list of uncountable nouns, otherwise you will be in fault trap. And we know that uncountable nouns we use singular verb, for uncountable nouns we use singular verb. So here some of the words are given: education, diabetics, information, research, and I have given some words: bread, soap, chalk. There are number of words are remaining. Next rule: one subject is singular, another subject is plural, then verb agrees with the nearest subject. We have learned this already in the case of either, either or. In the case of neither nor, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. So that is the same rule. Rule number 18 is the same rule of that. Now next, none. None is singular, right? None is singular. So they are telling us if none is used, only none is used, then none is actually singular. And if it is singular, then it becomes S1, and S1 follows V1 follows P1, right? But when used with of, that means none এর পর যদি আমার off থাকে, if none is followed by off, then I have to check after the of what is the subject given. If the subject is given singular, then we'll use singular verb. If the subject is plural, then we'll give plural verb. So none এর পরে none খালি যদি ইউজ হয় তাহলে সিঙ্গুলার, আর none এর পরে যদি অফ ইউজ হয়, অফ এর পরে কি দেওয়া আছে দেখতে লাগবে সাবজেক্টটা। If it is singular, then you will use singular verb. If it is plural, you will use plural verb, because S1 V1 P1, S2 V2 P2. Next, rule number 20, not required. 20 number 21 is also not required for you. Okay, so now we have discussed almost 19 number of rules, okay, along with the previous one. Thus we have finished the discussion of Subject-Verb Agreement, all the rules. Now we will try to solve questions, and we'll understand that whether these rules actually works, or how to use these rules in practically, so that I'll get full marks in Subject-Verb Agreement. So please wait for the questions we'll discuss. Now here are the questions. We'll try to solve questions. Okay, সবগুলি থেকে আমরা একটা চেক ফার্স্ট কতগুলা কোশ্চেন আমাদের আছে, সবগুলি আমরা একসাথে করতে পারবো না। ফার্স্ট পেজে আমাদের এই টপিকতে 31টা আছে। উইল ট্রাই টু সলভ 15, we'll try to solve 15. The rest is your part. Okay, the colors of rainbow. Okay, the colors of rainbow, that's beautiful. Now try to answer. The colors of rainbow is beautiful. So who is the subject over here? Subject is not rainbow. Many of the times we'll be figure out the wrong subject. Subject is not rainbow but colors, and colors are plural. So R is the answer, because S2 follows, V2 follows P2. The committee dash unanimous on the decision. Unanimous means together, unanimous means all together, so they have given decision together, so it becomes this collective noun becomes S1, and S1 follows V1, that means this is the right answer. Next, 10 kilometer is a long distance, so 10 kilometer dash a long distance. 10 kilometer, so kilometer is a unit of distance, so that means it is singular. I'll use is. Then Arabian Nights, the Arabian Nights dash a very popular book. They have already told us a popular book. This is the name of a book. It is not a plural, it is a singular, so I have to use is. The next is peanut butter and jelly. The peanut butter and jelly is a two different entities, right? Peanut butter or jelly মধ্যে তো কোনো মিল নাই না, they are different জিনিস. So if it is two different items, then it will become S2, and S2 follows, V2 follows P2. The next, sum of the students. Soon after the word sum, mention students, sum of the students, so it becomes S2. S2 becomes V2. কত সোজা, প্রশ্নপত্র লাগে না। Quickly we can figure out the answers. Next, the quality of mangoes dash not very good. So the quality of mangoes dash not very good. So here also mangoes is not the subject, it's a wrong subject, but the quality is the subject. কার কথা বললো আমাকে প্রশ্নের মধ্যে? কোয়ালিটির কথা। যদি সাবজেক্ট নিয়ে তোমাদের প্রবলেম হয়, হাউ টু ফাইন্ড আউট সাবজেক্ট, so please make a question with what or which, ওকে, যদি আমরা what and which দিয়ে আমরা question করি, then we'll get subject. So quality is the subject but not the mangoes, so it is followed by is, because quality is uncountable noun, and I have just said that uncountable noun এর সাথে singular ভাগ হয়. Next, the committee dash divided among themselves. They is themselves, they, the question itself told us divided, that means what, this collective noun becomes now S2, and S2 follows V2, so I have to answer this was where, right? I hope this is clear. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now this question, the director and the philosopher, so we have also now learned that this is a subject, na, philosopher is a noun and director is a noun. If there are two nouns and for these two nouns, for two different article is used, for two different nouns, if two different article is used, then it becomes S2, and S2 follows, V2 follows P2, that means I have to select F. Next question, his mother and guardian dash arrived, so that means mother and guardian is giving you a signal of signal idea, okay, singular idea or single idea, right? They are not different. My mother is my guardian, right? So my father is my guardian, right? So they are not two different entities, so they are actually single, so it is S1, and S1 follows V1, that means has is the right answer. Next, my mother and father dash to visit the Taj Mahal. So আমার বাবা এবং মা তাজমহল visit করবেন, so it is not like that my mother will go first, okay, and then after few days or after few months or after few hours my father will go. Both together will go, right? Both together they will go. Both together they will go. So both together they will go, right? So they are actually a single unit, right? They are actually single unity. So it becomes S1. Becomes S1. তো সাবজেক্ট যদি সিঙ্গুলার হয়, থার্ড পারসন সিঙ্গুলার হয়, তাহলে মেইন ভার্বের সাথে কি লাগাতে লাগবে, আমার এস বা ইএস লাগাতে লাগবে, এস বা ইএস লাগাতে লাগবে। তো আমাদের কি আনসার হবে, আমাদের আনসার হবে ওয়ান্টস, রাইট? Okay, so right answer is once. Okay, right answer is once, because the subject is third person plus singular, so I have to use s or es with the main verb. For example, he go na goes, he goes, because the subject is third person singular number. Here also আমরা কেন once করলাম, because my mother and my father is third person plus single entity. Done. Next question, neither Mayeshwar nor Lokeshwar dash present. So it's a case of neither nor, it's a question of neither nor, and if it is a question of neither nor, I have to check the closest subject with the verb. So I have to use verb over here. Nearest subject is Lokeshwar, that is singular, so I have to use is. Next, my mom or dad dash coming to the party. So this is a question of or. So dad is singular, nearest subject is, not are. Okay, 31. আমি চেক সিলেক্ট করে করে তোমাদের করে দিচ্ছি। লাইফ, লিবার্টি, পারসুট অফ হ্যাপিনেস, life, liberty and pursuit of happiness dash our motto. So these are actually not giving us different ideas, they are actually telling us a kind of a single idea, right? Life, liberty and pursuit of happiness dash our motto. These are our motto, these are not different items, these are not different things, they are seeing the same thing we are talking about, right? So again, this is giving a single idea, so it is become S1, right? Next, the crown and glory of life. The crown and glory is not different, because single article is used for two different nouns, glory and crown. That means it becomes S1, so I have to use is, right? I hope this is clear. Now next, between two evils, I always dash the one I have never tried. Okay, so the main subject over here is I. The nearest subject is what? So I accept that I is not third person single number. So I cannot use speaks. I pick. Pick will be the right answer. So you have to identify or figure out the main subject. Then only you can select the auxiliary verb or main verb. Otherwise, you will be in trap. Otherwise, you will be in trap. Next, the committee decision. The committee's decision dash been topic of controversy. Why their decision is a controversy? Because their opinions are different. Because their opinion are different, right? So that's why we will use have. Next, much of the beauty and glory of life we've discussed. Okay, we'll do it. Much of the beauty and glory of life dash disappeared. Okay, so beauty and glory of life, these are not different things. These are single idea. So I have to select has. Now next question, mania. We know that mania is considered as S1, that is singular, and S1 follows V1 follows P1, that is have. Now question number 7. Look at this question. The poor has several problems in life that could be solved with money. Okay, the poor is subject, right? So I have to use the main verb. The subject is third person plus singular. Third person plus singular. That means I have to add as or yes with the main verb, that is undergoes. Very easy question. Now next question. Around 30% is a given, percentage given. If it is a percentage given or fraction given, I have to check after the of what subject is given. So 30% of the population, Indian population, the population dash estimate to have talent. Okay, so population is singular or plural, and around 30% of the population dash estimated is estimated. Okay, or are estimated population. পপুলেশন মানে জনসংখ্যা। জনসংখ্যা আমরা এটা কি ভাবতে পারি? ভাবো মনে মনে কি ভাবতে পারি? সিঙ্গেল ভাববো নাকি ডিফারেন্ট ভাববো? মানে সিঙ্গেল ভাববো নাকি প্লুরাল ভাববো? প্লুরাল, রাইট? সো আর পপুলেশন তো একসাথে বলি না, আর না, আমরা কি দেই? চেঞ্জ করে দিই ইজ। Next, Bina dash in sales department in a department of a large firm. Okay, Bina. So Bina is third person single number. That means works will be the right answer. Next, neither nor. This is a case of neither nor. So after the subject nurse, I have to use verb. So nurse is singular. I have to use was. Very question. Even I am not reading these questions. Quickly, I am getting this answer because I know how to do these shortcuts, right? So I request all of you to learn these rules very hard so that you can do these questions very easily. Next, a significant number of volunteers. Okay, a significant number of volunteers. You'll find a number of. You'll find a number of over here. Okay, you have to figure out this a number of. A number of is considered as plural. So I cannot use volunteers. I use volunteer, not as. The most talented of these three boys. So it is talking about only one boy out of these three boys. It's not about talking about three boys. The most talented boy. That means I have to use is. Next, 100 of migrant dash in private firm in the city. So migrant, not migrants. Migrant. So I have to use as or es with the main verb. That is works. Migrant works. You and I dash going to make a great team. So the nearest subject with the verb with the subject, nearest subject is I. So I have to use am with the verb, right? Because I am, but not I are, because nearest subject is I. Next, no one. If no one is used single, then it is become singular. So no one was. I hope this question also you understand. A lot of food we serve as wasted daily. a lot of food, so food is uncountable. So if it is uncountable, I have to use singular verb, that is. Next, participating in the Republic Parade, that's considered an honor. So is considered, not are considered. All the ladies of the colony, so they are telling us in all together, not separately. All the ladies in the colony, so they are all together, so it becomes a single unit, as1, and after as1 main verb should be as or es, that is praise. Okay, it is praise. All the ladies of the colony praise together for Sunday evenings, on Sunday evenings. These are the very easy questions. If you understand the concept, questions are very easy. If you don't understand the concept, then the questions are very tough and you are not able to choose the right option. That's why I ask you all to read and understand and ask questions. If you get any sort of doubt, any sort of questions, please ask me. Otherwise, how could you improve? You have to improve. I know you have the capability. You can do it. Okay, you can do it. If you think that I should speak in Bangla, I can speak in Bangla also. I'm just telling you in English today because last we have discussed the rules in Bengali, but the English questions, so I should speak in English. Next, the craze for things that dash not easily. So whole the subject, I will not read the whole the question. I will not read the whole the question because only one part is important. The craze. Okay, the subject is craze. Okay, and that is singular, uncountable. That is. The famous author and actor. So single article is used for two different nouns. Okay, author and actor. So it becomes singular. Millions of young stars. Millions of youngsters is not singular. It's a plural. So aspire, not aspires. The committee after much deliberation test recommended strict action. So all the committee means what? There are some members. They all together planned for a strict action. That becomes as1. The as1 means as. The meaning, you have to understand the meaning of the sentence, right? নেক্সট the question of নিদান্নর, অনেকগুলো আমরা করলাম না নিদান্নরের। সাবজেক্টটা নিয়ার সাবজেক্টটা কে? ডকুমেন্ট। তাহলে কি হবে আমাদের? হ্যাভ। কোশ্চেনও পড়তে লাগে না। আই হোপ এগুলো তোমাদের বোঝা হলো। চলো এই পেজটা করি, তারপর দেন উইল মুভ টু দ্য নেক্সট সেকশন। ওকে, a number of NGOs, a number of is a plural, so I cannot use comes, I have to use come. Next, also awarded by the president dash number of people including my friends. তো এটার প্রশ্নের কোনো কিছু হয়নি, আগে পরে সেন্টেন্স অনেক ভুল, কেটে দিলাম। I would dash the lead actor to greet the cheering crowd, এমন কোনো মিনিং হয় না, প্রশ্ন ভুল, কেটে দিলাম, হতেই পারে। নেক্সট, along the northern boundary, so along দিয়ে প্রশ্ন করলাম আমাকে। ওকে, along the northern boundary of India dash the Himalayas, lies because আমরা দেখেছি এটা। A series of lectures on climate change dash scheduled for next semester. Okay, the series is not the lectures. The word lectures is not the subject. Series is the subject. A series, it's not a series, it's a series. Okay, so a series of lectures one by one. Okay, so lectures on climate change dash scheduled for next day. Okay, so it becomes singular. Okay, we'll do these questions. The details of the new policy. তো এর subject is details, but এখানে একটা কথা বলে রাখি, please note down, details কোনো শব্দই হয় না। Detail itself is considered as depend on the situation. Okay, it is considered as plural. Okay, details কিছু হয় না। The details of the subject, the detail of the subject, detail of the new policy dash been released by the government. Okay, তো যদিও সেন্স তার প্লুরাল, বাট ওয়ার্ডটা হচ্ছে মিন করে কি সিঙ্গুলার, তাহলে আমরা ইউজ করব কি হ্যাজ। যেরকম ডাটা ফর এক্সাম্পল, যদি এটা বোঝানো হয়, এটা বুঝো ডাটা, ডাটা ইজ কনসিডার্ড এজ প্লুরাল, মানে কনসিডার যখন বলবো তার সেন্সটা, কিন্তু the word itself is singular. Data is, not data are, same as detail. Next, neither the process nor the opposition leaders, তো কতবার করলাম, এটা তো এখানে ভাব দিতে বলেছে আমাকে, অপোজিশন লিডার্স বলেছে, তো প্লুরাল s2 হলে আমাদের কি দেবো ওয়ার। নেক্সট ফ্রুটলেস ড্যাশ দ্য টক্স হেল্ড লাস্ট উইক। ফ্রুটলেস মিনিং তো কিছু হয় না, এটা তো অ্যাকচুয়ালি এমন হওয়ার দরকার ছিল, ফ্রুটলেস টক্স হেল্ড লাস্ট উইক বিটুইন টু নেশনস। তাহলে আমার কোথায় ড্যাশটা হবে, ফ্রুটলেস টক্স এখানে হবে, ড্যাশ টক্স এর পরে হবে। ওকে, ফ্রুটলেস টক্স, তাহলে কি টক্স বলেছে, তাহলে আমি কি দেবো ওয়ার। প্রশ্নটা ভুল ভালো হয়ে গেছে আর কি। নেক্সট, the list of shortlisted candidates is again not the subject candidates, it's again the subject is list. The list is the right word, it's not about talking about the candidates, it's talking about the list. So you have to understand the subject, and again if you are not understanding the subject, ask this question what দিয়ে ও দিয়ে, তাহলে তুমি পেয়ে যাবে সাবজেক্টটাকে। list is singular, then I have to use has. Next question, the problems faced by small business owners dash been ignored. So here the subject is not the owners but the problems, and the problems is considered as to পরে কি হবে b2, that is have. Problems faced by small business owners have been ignored. I hope এই কোশ্চেন গুলো তোমাদের  Okay, now try to answer these questions 40 to 44. I'm giving you a chance to answer these questions. Two minutes time to answer these questions, and let me check whether you have asked any. Still not no question been asked, so I believe to understand this concept. Okay, ঠিক আছে, চলো শুরু করি আমরা। কোশ্চেন না থাকা ভালো, কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় যে কোশ্চেন করা দরকার যদি কোনো প্রবলেম হয়। নেক্সট কোশ্চেন, নট অনলি দ্য প্লেয়ার্স, আর কত করবো, শিখে নিয়েছি তো, আচ্ছা এটা করি। নট অনলি দ্য প্লেয়ার্স বাট অলসো, নট অনলি বাট অলসো। আগেরটা আমরা কি দেখলাম, ইদার অর নিদার নট, এটা হচ্ছে নট অনলি বাট অলসো, বাট সেম অ্যাপ্লিকেশন। হোয়াট ইজ অ্যাপ্লিকেশন, আই হ্যাভ টু ইউজ ভার্ব ওভার হিয়ার, রাইট? ড্যাশের মধ্যে ভাব দিতে হবে। সো হোয়াট ইজ নিয়ারেস্ট সাবজেক্ট, কোচেস। আমি তো কোচেস দেখবো, প্লেয়ার্স দেখবো না, কোচেস। সো দ্যাট ইজ ওয়ার। The team of scientists, here the subject is not scientist but team, and team is singular, that is has. Outside the hospital dash not only beggar but also some animals. So outside the hospital dash not only a beggar. Okay, was not, beggar is the subject. The committee members who have who were expected to report dash requested an extension. তো কমিটি মেম্বার যারা আছে, ধরো পাঁচজন আছে, যারা এখানে পাঁচজন মেম্বার আছে, তারা এক্সপেক্টেড টু রিপোর্ট ওয়ার এক্সপেক্টেড টু রিপোর্ট রিকোয়েস্টেড এন এক্সটেনশন। তারা কি বললো, তারা বললো যে আমরা একটু দেরি করে বা একটু পরে আসবো, তো এক্সটেনশন করতে বললো টাইমটা, টাইমটা। আর এক্সপেক্টেড টু রিপোর্ট ড্যাশ রিকোয়েস্টেড an extension, না না সরি, মানে তারা বললো যে একটা রিপোর্টের এক্সটেনশন করার জন্য বলবে, তো একসাথে একসাথে তো বলতে হবে না, সো হ্যাজ আলাদা তো বলতে পারবে না। none of the complaints আগেরটা কি ছিল খালি none এখন none এর পরে কি দিয়েছে of তো আমরা কি শিখেছি যদি none এর পর of থাকে I have to check the subject whether if it is singular then I'll use singular verb, it is plural then I'll use plural verb S1 B1 P1 S2 B2 P2 তো of এর পরে কি আছে আমার complaints singular plural so I have to use have so easy subject agreement মানে খুব easy subject তোমাদের easy topic full marks একদম full marks. Next, the principal and the vice principal dash agreed to take part in the drive. So principal noun, by principal again a noun, two different article is used, so it becomes S2. S2 follows B2, that is have is the right answer. So again, if you want to try first, I am giving you 1 minute or 2 minutes of time. Please read the questions from your screen and try to answer these questions. Or even if you're not answering, try to figure out the answer at home so that in examination there will not have any sort of confusion. Easily आप लोग वो question answer कर पाओ. So please check it. I am here for your support. So कुछ भी आपको क्वेश्चंस रहे, कोई भी डाउट रहे, कोई भी नोट चाहिए, प्लीज लेट मी नो, आई विल हेल्प. इनका भी इंग्लिश को लेकर थोड़ा दिक्कत है, नहीं है तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. So 1 more minute. One more minute. Done. Time's up. Very easy questions, na? So every speaker, every panelist. So I know that if a sentence started with each, every, everyone, everybody, no one, nobody, someone, somebody, anyone, anybody, they all are considered as S1 and S1 follows V1, that is was. Next, the horse and carriage has been restored. আর করতে লাগে না, horse and carriage এর আগে একটা আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, that becomes S1 মানে horse and carriage আলাদা কোনো কিছু না, একটাই has. The result of the survey, the results of the survey পড়ার মধ্যে ফুল বললে আমরা আনসার ভুল করব. The results of the survey, তো কার কথা বললো, সার্ভে কথা না, রেজাল্টস এর কথা বললো. রেজাল্টস কি সিঙ্গুলার না প্লুরাল? Certainly plural. So I cannot use as, I have to use without as. Indicate, the results of the survey indicate a decline public trust. Next question, the state of affairs in the neighboring country dash deteriorated further. যতই কঠিন প্রশ্ন দেখ, আমরা এরকম টেকনিক শিখেছি, আমরা কয়েক মিনিটে কয়েক সেকেন্ডে করে নেব. the state of affairs in the neighboring country dash deteriorated further. ওকে, তো কিসের সেন্স বলছে state of affairs the neighboring country, তো neighboring country মধ্যে state of affairs, ওকে, তাদের যে প্রত্যেক দিনের যে affairs কি বলি বাংলা বড় টাফ হয়ে যায় মাঝে মাঝে. ওকে, তো যাই হোক অনেকগুলি কিছু বলেছে নাকি একটা বলেছে, তো অ্যাফেয়ার তুমি শুধু বুঝো তো স্টেট অফ অ্যাফেয়ার্স. দ্য স্টেট অফ অ্যাফেয়ার্স ইজ সিঙ্গুলার অর প্লুরাল, জাস্ট এটা বুঝো. এটা বড় প্রশ্ন দেখতে লাগছে বাট ইটস ভেরি ইজি. Okay, so state of affair is not plural, is singular. Okay, singular s1, right? s1 হলে কি দেব, has দেব. Okay, current affairs মধ্যে কি আমরা দেখি অনেকগুলি লেখা আছে, বাট অল টুগেদার দে আর নোন এজ কারেন্ট অ্যাফেয়ার্স. লাইক স্টেট অফ অ্যাফেয়ার্স, so easy. Next, the equipment used in this factories dash frequent maintenance dash sorry, I am sorry. Okay, কি বললো আমাকে যে the equipment used in this factories dash frequent maintenance checks. ওকে, তো কার কথা বললো? ইকুইপমেন্টের কথা বললো। ইকুইপমেন্ট ইজ আনকাউন্টেবল, ইকুইপমেন্ট ইজ আনকাউন্টেবল। তো আনকাউন্টেবল সাথে আমি কি দেবো? আনকাউন্টেবল সাথে আমি প্লুরাল দেবো না সিঙ্গুলার? এস সাথে এস দিয়ে দেবো, এস দিয়ে দেবো, বিকজ সিঙ্গুলার না, আনকাউন্টেবল ইজ কনসিডার্ড সিঙ্গুলার, তো মিন ভার্বের সাথে আমার এস বা এস দিতে লাগবে, নিডস। দেন I have discussed almost থেকে 50টা থেকে আমরা 30টা ভাবলাম, আর এদিক থেকে আমার 30টা থেকে আমার 20টা ভাবলাম, 70। ওকে, 70 আর কিছু বাকি না, অলমোস্ট 60 থেকে 70টা কোশ্চেন আমরা সলভ করেছি। অ্যাগেন অ্যালং উইথ দ্যাট আমরা রুলস গুলি আবার দেখেছি। তো আই সাপোজ তোমাদের এই আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিংটা কমপ্লিট হয়েছে, রাইট? তুমি বুঝতে পেরেছো? ওকে, তারপরও যদি কিছু কোশ্চেন থাকে আমি একটা এইটা থেকে একটু কিছু দেখিয়ে দিই, জায়গাটা একটু ইম্পর্টেন্ট লাগছে। সো লাস্ট দিস কোশ্চেন, ওকে, ফর টুডে লাস্ট। there dash a problem with the balance sheet, okay, so আমরা না বুঝে দিয়ে দিই is, but actually আমরা জানি কি here and there যদি সেন্টেন্স স্টার্ট হয় তাহলে আমাদের কি দিতে লাগে? তাহলে আমাদের ভার্ব দিতে লাগে। ওকে, সো ভার্বটা দিতে লাগে, তো here is, sorry, there dash a problem, there is a problem, there, তারপর বলে কি here dash players you requested, তো here এর পরে কি dash, here তো সাবজেক্ট না, সাবজেক্টটাকে প্লেয়ার্স, তাহলে কি হবে? আর নেক্সট Ramesh and Suresh, Ramesh and Suresh not singular, plural, দেখি পাওয়া যায়, তাহলে আর the cow and the pig, so দুইবার দিয়েছে নাউন, এটা নাউনের জন্য দুটো ডিফারেন্ট আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, they become plural। আর he and his friends, শেষে কি বললো? আমাকে ফ্রেন্ডস বললো, এখানে ভার্ব বসাবো, ভার্ব হচ্ছে কাছে সাবজেক্ট লাগে সাথে বসে, ভার্ব সবসময় কাছে সাবজেক্টের সাথে মিলিয়ে বসে, তো ফ্রেন্ডস আমাদের সাবজেক্ট, তাহলে প্লুরাল, তাহলে গিয়ে দেবো আর, তাহলে কি দেবো আমি? আর। Next, sugar and flour dash needed for the dish. Sugar and flour, maybe they are two different, sorry, they are two different, not maybe, they are two different things, okay, dash needed for the dish, okay, সিঙ্গেল আইডিয়া এটা বলছে না, এটা তো আর। যদি বলতো এরকম যে ফ্লাওয়ার এন্ড আদার একটা আইটেম কিছু বলতো যেটা সিঙ্গেল আইডিয়া হতো, তাহলে আমি সিঙ্গেল দিতাম, সিঙ্গেল আইডিয়া না। নেক্সট, দ্য ক্রিয়েটর এন্ড দ্য প্রডিউসার, ক্রিয়েটর নাউন, প্রডিউসার নাউন, একটা সিঙ্গেল আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, তাহলে আমার কি হয়ে যাবে? ইজ। নেক্সট, দ্য রাইটার এন্ড ইকোনমিস্ট, এগেইন সেম কোশ্চেন, সিঙ্গেল আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, বিকাম সিঙ্গুলার, তাহলে কি দেবো আমি? হ্যাজ। লাস্ট কোশ্চেন অফ দ্য ডে, দ্য ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট এন্ড হোস্ট, দুইটা সিঙ্গুলার নাউন ইউজ করেছে, একটা আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, দুইটা সিঙ্গুলার নাউন ইউজ করেছে, একটা আর্টিকেল ইউজ করেছে, একটা আর্টিকেল ইউজ করলে কি হয়ে যায়? এটা সিঙ্গুলার হয়ে যায়, সিঙ্গুলার সাথে মেইন ভার্বের সাথে এস দিতে লাগবে, গ্রিডস আমি দেবো, বিকজ দ্য সাবজেক্ট বিকাম থার্ড পারসন এন্ড সিঙ্গুলার ইন নাম্বার, সো আই হ্যাভ টু ইউজ এস or es with the main verb, right? So thus we have concluded these questions, and I have also discussed the rules. I hope the class is understood very well, and I request all of you to please read, study at home hard, ask questions, and again if you have any problem I am there to help you. So for today the class is over, we'll meet on next day with a new topic, right? Thank you so much, have a good day.